is filled with lies, distortions, and misrepresentations, and it will not succeed. In her effort to extract a large financial settlement, Ms. Zuniga presented Mr. Sharpe with a secretly recorded video of his consensual sexual encounter. To set the record straight, we are releasing several of Ms. Zuniga's own explicit text messages to Mr. Sharpe that clearly indicate the nature of their relationship was consensual and sexual in nature, and in many cases, initiated by her with specific and graphic requests. Contrary to the allegations she makes in the lawsuit, consensual sex continued until January 2nd, 2025, the day after she asked for $25,000 per cheek. There are other examples of texts from Ms. Zuniga. For example, oh boy, let's see here. Let me get this out of the way. Only if you put that baby gravy in me, then I can do whatever I want to me. Baby gravy in me, then I can do whatever I want to me. Text from Gabriella Zuniga to Shannon Sharpe, November 23rd, 2023. The edited tape that Ms. Zuniga secretly taped and showed to Mr. Sharpe during her blackmail attempt tries to falsely portray, as a result of this editing and out of context from prior text messages, that the sexual activity was not consensual. Spoke with Tony Buzbee and Shannon Sharpe's legal team, and I have some updates. First, I asked Tony Buzbee, attorney for the accuser, I asked if this case is happening because Shannon Sharpe is reportedly in talks for a $100 million podcast deal. But what lawyer is going to say, absolutely, my client is actually doing this because he has a $100 million deal on the table? Who's going to say that? Get out of here. 2, I asked him about the video blackmail Shannon Sharpe mentioned in his statement. Tony Buzbee answered that Shannon Sharpe's lawyers were allegedly shown the video in full during a mediation. Tony Buzbee alleges that Shannon Sharpe allegedly denied to view the video and offered a settlement in exchange that the victim denied. So it was $10 million. People were asking, what was that settlement? The alleged offer was $10 million. This is why I said I'm showing you both sides of the story, because there's a lot of, back and forth here. But he's claiming that Shannon's lawyer saw the full tape. Second, I then spoke to Lanny Davis, attorney for Shannon Sharpe, in response to Tony Buzbee's claims. Shannon Sharpe's attorney denies that their team was ever extended the offer to see the video in full. He did confirm to me that only Shannon Sharpe's attorneys were shown the tape, but they allege they were shown an edited version of the video, which they confirmed was edited after explaining it to Shannon Sharpe. Class E said, I don't usually say this, but Unc should have made sure this got settled. Tony might have a win here. Interesting, folks. Interesting. But a lot of people are saying, like, Shannon, stay away from those younger girls. People are saying that type of thing.
And just like that, you realize this isn't just a he said, she said. It's a multi-million-dollar pressure cooker wrapped around a sex tape, a podcast empire, and one of the most complicated celebrity legal disputes in recent memory. So let's zoom out for a second. Gabriella Zuniga files a $50 million lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe, claims she was assaulted, manipulated, and secretly recorded, serious charges, specific dates, 2 alleged incidents, one in October, one in January, both detailed down to the mood of the room. And she's backed by Tony Buzbee, yes, the same lawyer who went head-to-head with Deshaun Watson and Sean Combs. When he shows up, the stakes go through the roof. Shannon Sharpe's team responds like they've been waiting for this. They name her outright Gabriella Zuniga, not Jane Doe anymore. They drop screenshots of explicit text messages, the kind of messages that do not read like someone trying to escape a controlling situation. One of them literally said, $25,000 per cheek. And that's not metaphor. It's not poetic. It's very literal and very on brand for how this whole story operates. Messy, expensive, and impossible to ignore. That message, $25,000 per cheek, is being used by Sharpe's legal team to suggest the relationship wasn't just consensual, but transactional at times. It reads like an offer, sexual access in exchange for money, framed in graphic, joking terms. In court, that kind of message can complicate claims of coercion. It doesn't erase the allegations, but it gives Sharpe side ammo to say, look, this wasn't fear or manipulation. This was flirtation. She was setting terms, not escaping them. Whether that holds up legally is another story, but strategically, it's there to create doubt. And in the court of public opinion, doubt is currency. Then there's the audio clip. Tony Buzbee releases what he claims is Shannon threatening to choke her. It's intense, no way around it. But Sharpe's attorney, Lanny Davis, says, yeah, that's him. But it was during an argument, in the heat of the moment, and you're not hearing the full conversation. He claims it was clipped, not AI, not fake, just cropped to sound like something it wasn't. And he dares Buzbee to release the full version. Same with the alleged video. Davis says the tape was shown privately during mediation and that it was part of a blackmail attempt. Not theoretical, not speculative. They've seen it, and they're calling it edited. So now you've got dueling narratives, each backed by lawyers who love the spotlight and a timeline that reads like a drama pilot. They meet at a gym in LA. She's 19, he's 54, which, again, legal, sure. But you don't need a law degree to know that's not exactly an even table. They're in a relationship that lasts almost 2 years with ups, downs, and what Sharpe's team calls fantasy role play, including texts about dog collars, tying up, and baby gravy. Again, no metaphors here. This is all confirmed in filings. By fall of 2024, cracks were showing. Zuniga says she was humiliated when Sharpe went live on Instagram while hooking up with someone else, not her. A month later, she says things turned dark. October 2024, the first alleged assault. Then in January 2025, the second, same city, different day. And all of it happening in the background of what might be the biggest career deal of Shannon Sharpe's life. As this lawsuit drops, so does the news that Sharpe is in talks for a media deal reportedly worth over $100 million. Maybe more. The man made $22 million in his whole NFL career. This podcast deal could quadruple that. 4 times the money, none of the concussions. He's already got millions of subscribers, viral interviews, and a stable of shows under the Shay Shay brand. Club Shay Shay, Nightcap, Bubba Dub, Humble Baddies. The whole thing's becoming a network, and Big Money knows it. The timing isn't proof of anything, but it's definitely a spotlight that changes how this all gets received. Buzbee says it took courage for Zuniga to come forward against someone so powerful. Davis says it's a classic shakedown, and he points straight at Buzbee, accusing him of targeting high-profile black men with media-friendly lawsuits designed to detonate reputations before they ever reach a courtroom. Sharpe's legal team says there's more going on than headlines. They say Buzbee didn't just file the suit out of nowhere. He brought the video into mediation before this even became public. And not only that, but he allegedly refused to hand over the unedited version. Davis is challenging him publicly now. If this is what you're leading with, then show the whole tape, all of it, not just the clip that makes a great trailer. Both sides claim to have receipts, both claim to have recordings, both claim to know the context, and both are spinning a story that hinges on who gets believed first. But if you were expecting TMZ to sort this out, think again. Independent media stepped in early. Sabby Sabs from the Revolutionary Blackout Network ran coverage that felt less like gossip and more like court transcript commentary. And she doesn't just drop in quietly. Her segment's title is literally Shannon Sharpe sued, Hegseth exit, Pope Francis dies. That's not clickbait. That's a thermonuclear round of news crammed into one upload, and yet it works. Her tone is surgical. Her source work is real. It's a reminder that this story isn't being filtered through corporate handlers. It's out there, raw. Right now, this is still civil, not criminal. There's no trial date on the books yet, and everything's being litigated in public before it ever touches a jury. But the outcomes on the table are huge. This could settle. It could escalate. Sharpe says he's planning to countersue for defamation. Buzbee says he's bringing the heat. There's a video, there's audio. There are thousands of words in sworn filings and probably dozens of texts no one's even seen yet. It's a minefield, not just for reputations, but for how cases like this play out when they intersect with fame, media, and money. So here's the real question. When you strip away the headlines and the hashtags, what happens when consent, clout, and capital all crash into each other in real time? What happens when both sides claim the truth is on their side and both have receipts? And maybe most importantly, how many people out there are going to try this same playbook once they see how this ends? We're watching all of it. This is Trend Wave. And if this story shifts again, we will give you the update.